that hour or hour and a half you lie on the massage bed is actually like a relief because you can't eat. I'm Vera Looser and I'm a mountain bike marathon rider. I am originally from Namibia, where I was born and I grew up. I am the current #1 in the marathon, mountain bike marathon world ranking. I won the Marathon World Cup last year. I won the Cape Epic in 2023. And this year at the Cape Epic, I finished second with my partner, Alexis Scott from America. The Absa Cape Epic is always a big highlight beginning of the year for all the mountain bike riders. It's one of those events that's super tough. You have to get into there in a really good form, but it's also really early in the year, so which gives you a motivation throughout the whole winter, which is nice to train through the winter with more motivation than normally. For me, the biggest highlight at the Epic was just how we all managed it as a team. I think our team was very small and sweet. We dealt like a well-lubed chain, so that was nice. We only had a manager and a cook with us, and my partner and I get along super well, so that was my highlight from this year's Cape Epic. There were actually 2 challenges this year, both to do with the weather. We had extreme heat in the middle of the week, which left us on one day with my partner, especially with some heat problems. And then 2 days later we had rain, and the final climb of the day got so sticky and muddy that you could hardly walk up it. Your whole wheels were just full of mud and the wheels wouldn't turn anymore, so you were like, should I carry it? Should I try to get the mud off? And also there, you lose so much time if you don't work with it mentally correctly. So I think those were the biggest challenges for us this year. I think one of the toughest moments was the last stage in the beginning. You almost like, oh, it's only because they shortened the stage, it was only 43 kilometers, and you're like, it's only 43 kilometers to the finish. And then the girls started so hard. It was the hardest start of the whole week. And my legs were just, they felt like cement blocks, but you couldn't drop because there was still a lot happening in the general classification as well, and we were currently lying in second. So you're just hanging on there for dear life. And yeah, it was actually still quite a hard stage, although it was so short. For me, the nutrition planning starts before I leave to South Africa. Because I have to get all my sponsor stuff in Switzerland and try to bring that all to South Africa, which is quite a mission sometimes because obviously we eat quite a lot and we drink a lot on the bike. So I start calculating how many gels I want to eat, how long the stages are, how much carbs I want in my bottles, what other things beside on the bike nutrition I need, like magnesium, basic minerals, salt, all that stuff. Then I put in a big order with Sponser. Then I carry all of that stuff to South Africa, and I hope that it will last for a whole week of racing. Energy in the Cape Epic is everything. You have to be eating the whole time, on the bike and off the bike. And on the bike, it's not always that easy because you are on the limit the whole time. And eating is difficult. So I try to opt with a lot of carbs in my bottle. I use the carbo fuel in the bottle with 80 grams per bottle, and I try to drink 1 bottle per hour, especially in the heat. But one still has to be careful, especially in the heat, that you still consume enough water. I like adding a little bit of salt so that my body can still take up the carbs. And then I take 1 big pure or BCAA gel per hour. So it adds up to around 120 grams of carbs per hour. And yeah, sometimes it's a little bit less, especially towards the end of the stage. You don't feel like eating or drinking anymore. But I really just try to stick to that. And then once we're in the finish, pro-recovery shake and eating the whole day. So a day of eating in the Cape Epic looks like this for us. We start with a breakfast, which for me, beginning of the week was oats with fresh fruit and some yogurt. And then later in the week, I actually switched to pancakes because I felt they were easier to eat. And I'll just put some cinnamon sugar onto it and some banana. Breakfast isn't the most important meal. You have to eat something, but the fueling actually is really important after the stage. And then then I have my 120 grams roughly per hour on the bike. Once we finish, it's the pro-recovery shake, a cherry juice, and then we try eating immediately. Once we get home, it's a lunch, usually rice or pasta. Very light eating, not a lot of fat, no greens, no veggies, no salads, no anything that can make you sick. It's really just getting the carbs in and light protein. For dinner, usually we had also again rice or pasta with fish or chicken, hardly any red meat. It was just something that is lightly digestible. And yeah, in the afternoon, I would eat pancakes, whatever was lying around. Our chef made these amazing cooked rice cakes with coconut milk that were really good. And yeah, sometimes in the middle of the night I woke up and I was hungry, so I would go to the fridge and just get another rice cake and have a rice cake 3 o'clock at night. I did take magnesium, extra magnesium after the stage or at night before I went to bed. I also took the Relax and Recover from Sponser so that I could sleep earlier, because you want to be sleeping by 8 because you have to get up before 5 again every morning. Those are definitely things that I used, and obviously the recovery shake just to fuel up on carbs and protein right after the stage. For the pro riders, we have the luxury of having support staff at most of the water points. I can have 2 big bottles on my bike, so I start with 2 big bottles depending on where the water points are, but I try calculate 1 big bottle per hour. On the hot days, we even opted for a use-wear pack that we took in the middle of the race so that we can have more water, more diluted isotonic drinks also in our bags for that time. But yeah, it is definitely a challenge, especially if it's hot. So you want to drink enough, yeah, and it's like you want cold stuff as well. So you always, at the water points, we get bottles of a lot of ice in so that your core temperature can come down. But on that one ultra hot day that we had, you take a sip out of your use-wear bag and it's just warm, and then once you get to the bag or the fluid that is in your bag, it actually gets cold again. But it just shows how hot it is. That part just heats up so quickly, and you want to have ice for everything. So also there we had to stop at fueling stations where we didn't have our support staff there, and we just had to fill our bottles with ice water and also just dump it on ourselves to just try stay cool. I definitely have the competition, the carbo fuel, maltodextrine, the pure gels, the BCAA gels, the magnesium, the Relax and Recover, the Pro Recovery. I'll have a carbo fuel and what is that again? A carbo loader. The carbo loader in the afternoon to get more carbs in. Yeah, so I use quite a wide range of all the products. We also had multi-protein actually at night. We'd have that with yogurt, or our chef would make it with like a little bit of condensed milk and yogurt, and she makes like protein lollies out of it, like frozen lollies out of it, which was like our little ice cream, protein ice cream at night that she made for us, which was also quite nice. And it's just, you have to eat so much. So you almost have the feeling that you're eating the whole afternoon. It's that hour or hour and a half you lie on the massage bed is actually like a relief because you can't eat. But the rest of the time you're always like having something to put into your mouth. So yeah, and then normally just before bedtime we would have something with protein, and to also just fuel the muscles with some protein. I must say this year was much easier for me towards the end of the week because I felt really good throughout the whole week. I never had stomach issues. I wasn't bloated. If I compare that to 2 years ago, stomach issues, I was sitting on the toilet a lot, and then last year I've been a lot of bloated, and this year felt so easy in that way that I just knew, or I saw that my nutrition strategy definitely worked out, which was amazing to see. And that's also towards the end of the week, if you can still feel like you want to eat and you're still hungry and you can get off the bike and you're like, I want food, that's such a good sign, because then your body can also still take it up. But once you get to that point and you just don't want to eat anymore, then I think you have to opt more to liquid carbs, more carbo loader, stuff like that, that you can just drink and not chew actually. Or what I also felt is nice, especially if it's hot, is doing smoothies, banana or oats and just something that is cold and that you can just swallow, that you don't have to have the mission of chewing something actually. My tip for the beginners is, or what I think is a lot underestimated, is the fueling on the bike actually. Lots of people go ride and they want to lose weight and they just don't eat anything on the bike, and then they are out there for 2 hours and then they just starve themselves. The next day they're super tired, even after the ride they're super tired and they get hungry and then they eat whatever. So it's actually better to eat something on the bike, don't starve yourself, get off the bike and you actually feel good and you don't have to stuff everything into your mouth that you see, and then the next day you feel good again and you can do some sport again. So I think that's a big tip for everybody out there that wants to start mountain biking or start with any sport in general, and just keep fueling. Your body needs it while you are active. Buy Sponser products.